So it's been about 6 months since we last did one of our episodes to show you guys what we've done in here. And I'm going to show you what we've done. It's been a really busy 6 months, as you can tell by the lack of filming. So I want to show you what we're up to.
Currently it is Christmas, so we have the studio set up for that. As you can see, it's a little busier.
We have our custom camera mounts. Back here we have like another camera that's going to point out. We have 3 cameras in total here.
Here's the edit that happens. So we have the podcast studio here that has the producer deck here. Good old computer to keep it running. As you can see, it's become a bit more alive in here. And back here, we have the Tubi edit bay.
That was something work on is get dust. Like grip kit, the hockey out, up tools.
And then we have the team making up stuff right now. What are you making today?
I'm building out our camera build for tomorrow's shoot. We're shooting on the new FX6 that we just picked up.
Ooh.
Yeah, full frame. We've got a 24 to 105 on there right now, but we have a bunch of other lenses for it as well. I've used it one time so far.
Are you nervous about using a brand new camera on a new shoot?
No, this is actually probably a much safer set than the last shoot I was on with it. So.
Now, last time we were shooting on set, we had a red.
We had a red that we rented for a bit on this particular campaign. This is like the part 2 of that same campaign.
Okay. And this is for local economic development and
exactly.
technology, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So image-wise, we're looking at about similar quality, just minus the raw capability. I'm really impressed with the Sony FX color science. Full frame, where before on the red we were shooting Super 35, so that'll be nice as well. Got a probe lens rented for it. Should be a fun day. 1 day, 2 locations. It'll be hectic because it's kind of a smaller crew to save budget for a later thing, but yeah, should be cool.
One of the additions we had too, just hiding on us, is we have our studio manager. So Trina's responsible for the studio and making sure it runs smoothly and making sure people show up on time. So how's it going?
Good.
Are you excited?
Yes, it's like herding cats sometimes.
Yeah, what are you working on today?
I'm just getting the call sheets ready for our shoot tomorrow.
Nice. So what is a call sheet?
What is a call sheet? A call sheet is a information pamphlet, I guess you'd say, that everybody is sent out so that the crew has it. They know what time to meet at the studio. They know what time approximately that it's going to start. If we have any models, they get one as well, so they know what time to be at the location to get ready. It just helps us keep track of where everybody has to be.
I like it because then you know when snack time is or when.
Yes,
right?
Yes, because I'm in charge of snacks as well. So yes,
that's an important job.
It's a very important job. I got to keep you guys fed because you got to be happy. So snacks make people happy.
We got the good old studio screen set up there.
Let's talk about 6 months.
6 months.
6 months, what is that? What is the thing that stands out to you the most in the last 6 months?
I would say the podcast studio went really well. We've figured that out technically, and it's continued to grow. I mean, there's lots of little
nuances.
Yeah, just things that we didn't have fine-tuned enough once we started bringing clients in my opinion. I think we could have had some shit figured out that was a little more clean process. But now we've kind of refined everything, so it's actually running really well now.
Yeah.
We paid for some extra software and stuff that
just makes it smoother.
Yeah, a lot smoother.
Yeah,
I would say.
I feel like when we built the studio, one of the things we wanted to do is to make sure that we had some kind of viable monthly reoccurring income, and that was from the podcast studio. And I feel like it's done its job. I feel like we can increase it and do more,
Yes.
right? So I
Yep.
feel like that's our next step, is to bring in a few more of those, because it's really nice to have where you can actually rely on the fact that, you know what, I can work on this and do this stuff now at the
Yeah,
top
this is
of
the
where
fun
we
stuff.
want to go, without worrying about, okay, we need to get this done, but then we're going to go get another job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's paying for itself, which in your experience, you've had studios before.
Yeah.
That's the biggest point of
A lot
issue.
of people when they build studios build them with the idea of putting gear in them, right? So they want all their stuff to go in, they want somewhere to work, but they don't stop to think, how is that making me money, right? Can I do that from home? Yes, then keep the money in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do more though, if you want to have a place to shoot and you are shooting in it, it can be very valuable, right?
Yeah,
And like
and-
the studio itself, like 80% of it is still wide open for, fun production versus podcast, and the podcast is like 20%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that the 20% of that podcast is really good though, because it helps keep this going.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a really smart move. It was a move that you wanted to make anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it was the whole basis of the studio, right? So we're like, how do we make it so that this is a thing?
yeah, that where you're not just spending money.
Yeah.
You're making money
Yeah.
with the space.
Yeah. To build this studio, we spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So,
spent a lot of
Yeah.
money. I spent a lot of your money.
yes.
I guess
That's
we
good
should
though.
be clear about the relationship now, because that was a big thing that we figured out.
We're married. Yeah.
Not to each other.
Just leave it like that. Yeah.
You figured out kind of along the way, or we both kind of came to the realization that
Yeah.
we kind of had two production units,
Which made no sense.
which made no sense at all. It got
No.
confusing on the client end
Uh-huh.
when it's like, okay, there's AMP, and then there's also Mind Fusion that works for AMP
Yeah.
as a subcontract. But really what you were doing was agency work.
Yeah.
You were going out and finding the work,
Yep.
offering brand assistance
Want to do
and
the
creative.
ideation. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So that's all agency stuff.
Yeah.
Where my end was the logistics, equipment, and production.
Yeah.
So now we've kind of differentiated AMP from Mind Fusion more.
And it's really important too, because and we've done like short clips on this too, with like, this is why I'm here, this is why you're here, kind of thing. But I feel like the hardest jump for me this year was saying I'm no longer just a photographer,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
the studio, sure, the studio was great, and having a podcast studio was amazing.
Yeah.
But that jump from like, you know what, AMP is an agency. It's not a photography unit. It's not this. It's not that.
Yeah.
And AMP was built to be an agency from the ground up, but then I got scared of it.
Yeah.
Right. So then it's like
you backed off.
So I backed off because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to, I mean, like I work with agencies. So the whole thing is just like, I'm literally going to, be an agency. I'm sure agencies are not going to like that. What it turns out is the opposite. Agencies love the fact that I get the agency level stuff, and they can just cut through some of the things that usually you would, kind of like work around with your creatives. Right? Now I go into it as a creative running an agency,
Yeah.
but I also know how to talk to creatives. So when a client says to me, well, we need this to pop, I know they're probably saying they want it more vibrant, or they want it more
Yeah.
lit.
Yeah. You get the lingo a bit better.
Yeah. I'm able to kind of discern what they need before we actually go into it. So yeah, the relationship between agency and production unit is very clear now, which is nice.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
now, like, you hire me as a photographer.
Yeah, it's basically just different line items in different spots, or the
Yeah.
same line items in different
Yeah.
spots. So instead of you billing out a photographer fee,
Yep.
it comes from the Mind Fusion side.
Yeah.
And now that's one thing that we're figuring out, and it's tough to figure out because I'm not a photographer commercially by
So I'm having
trade.
to train you on how
So
to
you're-
run a photography.
Exactly. So
Well, 'cause
we're
I mean,
also bidding
production-
on that.
Well, production really is becoming blended, whether we like it or not.
It has to. Yeah.
It has to. And like-
Everybody needs a bit of both.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at all of our clients, the happiest they've been is when they have dual production, right? The
Yeah.
video and the photos combined.
Exactly.
Right? Their video or photo, they're always like, yeah, this is great, but we also need this. But if we do the double up, then they've always got everything they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a great workflow for us. So.
Yeah. I think like anybody starting up a studio now who's watching those earlier ones, something to know is it all happens at once and it all feels really slow at the same time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like we look back now, it's like, how did we get all that done in such a short time?
But when you're in it, you're
But
like,
when you're
oh
in
my
it, it's
God.
like, it's not going fast enough. We need this to happen now. We've got to do this. We've got to do that,
Yeah.
Like I remember even getting like slowed down by like electrical was a great example.
Yeah. Felt
Right,
like
and we're
weeks,
sitting there, we're like,
and it was just a couple days.
We're just wasting money, but it's like, yeah, it was like a week. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just impatient as well.
Yeah, we're just ADHD. Since that video, the third video,
Yeah.
you have got married,
Yep.
you bought your first
Bought a house. Yep.
Yeah,
And still running a production company.
still running a production company.
Somehow.
I think now you're actually running a production company.
Yeah.
And
Now
before
it's,
you were kind of like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
The same way that I wanted to be an agency. Now you're there.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the work we've got this year, to be honest, short of the ones that you bring in, is just because we're here.
Yeah.
Like we've got work through word of mouth.
Yep.
And the fact that we're in the area that we are with the people that we know.
So a lot of people out there are going saying, well, that's great. You've got work, yada, yada, yada. But the reality is we're actively looking for that work and we're actively going out there for it.
You
So
are.
it's- Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You are.
And so it's like building out those relationships is really key. So in a world where it's a lot of social media and all of that, yes, social media is important. And yes, you should be doing it as like a baseline, but get out there in your community and talk to the people, right? So if that's the one piece of advice I can give to people getting started and want to get out there, is build that community of trust and people around you so that you can go out there and do that. Like we're looking at broadening our kind of zone of influence, if you like. One of the things we need to do is we need to show that we can do the work,
Yep.
aka spec work, and B, we need to go out and push it in front of these people. So now we need to identify who we need to go and talk to,
Yep.
and then we need to go out there and start making connections, right?
Yes.
Because they
Personal
can't hire
connections.
us
Yeah.
if they don't know us,
Yeah.
right? No one's going to go through, Google or Yellow Pages or whatever they use
Yeah. It
to
doesn't
get.
happen anymore.
No, exactly. No one's going to do that. They're going to go, hey, we need a videographer. Or we need a film crew that can do this.
Yeah. Who do we know?
Right. Who do we know
first?
that can do that? Right.
You want to be the who do we know?
Who do we know? Exactly. Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
Brady and Ash from Mind
Yeah.
Fusion.
Yeah. Exactly. And those guys can create what we need to do.
Yeah.
Right. And on my side as an agency, my job is to help those clients understand the value of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Well, there's value, and then there's the placement of it
Yeah.
too, because so often, in kind of the infancy of a production unit, whether you're just doing corporate videos or whatever, weddings,
Yep.
you're just grabbing the money,
Yeah.
doing the work, that's it.
Yep. rinse
And
repeat.
then when a potential client or a client goes, okay, the video looks great, but it didn't do anything for us, there's no value in it.
No.
Well, there's no value in it because you didn't have the strategy behind it. You also handle that
Yeah.
so that there's tangible value and metrics behind making the 30-second ad or
Yeah.
whatever and then putting it out. You can't just
I'm
post it on Instagram.
No, and I'm shocked at how many of our clients would take our videos, take our photos, and then just push them out on socials and then get upset that it didn't work. When the reality is you haven't actually made it work yet, right?
You haven't done anything with
Put some money behind it, spend some ad dollars, and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Trina doing the studio management and also the production management of anything that we do,
Yeah, Trina became the go-between.
our companies,
Yeah.
and also between us and our people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun job, right, Trina?
She's
That's fine.
She's ignoring us. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ups and downs, but
yeah.
yeah. Do you want to what? Said it's been a fun job, right?
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
It's learning. It's a process.
Yeah.
Yeah.